So Rhombus Square and the arena are all very exciting, but let's not forget that we're here to check out the rest of Sapphire Ridge. So we should probably get to that. But you can't stop me from being distracted by being able to chain molars and spiders. I'm a simple man. I have simple needs.
Alas, if only we could spare poor Emily.
Also, I told you we'd be coming back for this chest. It's not anything important, it's just a chest. But, it was really weird that I missed it. Come to think about it, it is also really weird that, there's so many chests at this point in the game that they make a point of them being silver chests, but there's no point in silver chests at this point. I don't know why they bother. It's weird, right?
What? I mean, what does silver chests even have at this point? Like...
I mean, that's the thing. There's all that's...
Because all the gold chests have, like, your unique crafting materials and stuff.
Not necessarily, but yeah, I mean, the idea is that the bronze, silver, and gold chests are gated such that you will get them at a later point in a game, and thus, when they have equipment in them, they have higher level equipment. But when they do crafting items, it usually doesn't matter, because most of the unique crafting items don't really enter into things until very late. And when they do non-unique crafting items, there's even less of a point to it, so... I don't know, but... And even that is more of a point than I'm getting at right now, which is simply that at this point in the game, there is no point in silver chests, because you can't not have all the keys when you come to Sapphire Ridge. It's weird, right?
I guess? Although I can see the value in differentiating what you would get from them, because, like, it would be... like, if there was just, say, a random silver chest lying around, and it would be much easier to be like, oh, okay, well, I don't need to care about that chest specifically. Like...
There's a theoretical theory here, which I can respect, except it doesn't really always seem to come up. Like, it would be something if there actually was an extremely reliable, well-defined point of differentiation between the contents of all these chests, but, like, as far as I can tell, there isn't, except that the very best stuff is usually in gold chests, as far as I can recall. Anyway, this was always here, but, you know, there's no point in trying to come here without the meteor shade, because, nothing. And also, somewhat inevitably, so yeah, we found the plot. There is, needless to say, stuff that will only happen here when we come here alone. But before we get to that, there's one last area to acknowledge.
Can't believe that we're not gonna, like, bring Emily and Trani to our big plot confrontation.
Kind of wonder what they'd make of it. I wonder what kind of nonsensical science objection Citron would try and raise. Oh man. Instatainment, I'm so sorry you've had to deal with. Gamers. I suppose it should be acknowledged that CrossCode itself did spend a decent amount of time with the very last chapter hanging in the early access abyss. I'm given to understand that everything right up until the one boss fight after the raid was held back for the very final update, and I mean literally you did the raid, you get ambushed by blue guy, and then it's like, nope, that's it, that's the game.
That is a lot to hold back.
Yeah, there was a significant chunk of content, although I'm also given to understand that they did include, kind of, Gaia's Garden and the dungeons. It's just that there wasn't really any plot in them. You could just run around and explore. So it wasn't completely nothing. It's just, you know, the entire back half of the plot, the entirety of Vermilion Wasteland, everything that happened after it, and all of this got held back. And, you know, that would have been quite a cliffhanger to end the plot on, so I'm pretty sure at least some of these comments are just copied verbatim from things that people would have said to Radical Fish in that period. Once again playing just a tiny bit of the meta card, and getting away with it magnificently. But yeah, this is technically the limbo that Crossworlds itself is left in. The final dungeon is just here, and nobody can go into it. But of course, there's an entire series of complicated jumping paths that you can take around this place. Because, like, why would you expect any different? This here is kind of a tiny bit of a dick move. I think these glyphs on the floor are just a tiny bit too subtle for my liking. But they are there, and they're visible, and they behave completely consistently. They are the things that make the grapple points appear. And always have been. And our prize is a crafting material.
I mean, what else would it even be at this point?
That's fair. But I mean, there is an entire shop in Robbers Square, well, an entire shop, one trader, who makes a set of gear that is pretty much the only thing that you use antique tokens for. Anyway, you might have blinked and missed that we got all the landmarks in Sapphire Ridge, which means that we can now finally find out what the hell is going on with Henry.
Is it that weird for there to be an actual person here in Crossworlds? Like someone who's not an avatar?
Yeah. Inside the playground, extremely. It is unprecedented, with the single exception that's come up in the plot already, which is, you know, why that came up in the first place. Like, there's a bunch of humans, like, on the planet, on the Raritan Gem, doing literally construction work. That's been pretty firmly established. but, like, actually inside the playground, inside the game world, should be only avatars. There should be no actual humans here. Not least because they break all the instant matter crap. Anyway, our objective for the time being is to walk around what isn't really necessarily obviously only the cave-in, and find people talking about Henry. Cannot stress enough that all of these conversations are in the cave-in. There is no need to explore elsewhere in Sapphire Ridge. Also, I don't think the game ever tells you that all of these are conversations that you have to overhear. They're not going to be people just lying around with exclamation points over their heads. Don't know quite how I feel about that one either, but once you cotton on, it's not so much of a problem. I feel like we should acknowledge how weird it is that the game has gone out of its way several times to state that credit trading between players is impossible. And yet, like, players can give each other quests, and Buggy just straight up gave us some gold bars, which have no purpose other than to be sold for credit, so, like, I feel like there's just some writer apathy going on here. Oh, and yeah, there's also this thing. All told, this bit of this quest is a tiny bit weird. And shockingly, there are 4 clues to find. Not 3. I know everybody who got 3 clues thought that they were done. Here's a really fun fact. We've already found this, because it was, really obvious. I don't know how seriously they expect us to take this whole hidden thing. But whatever. So I kind of have to wonder, like, how good and competent and well-reputed is CrossCode's moderation? And is it as much of a clusterfuck as, like, Twitch? Are there just hordes of people getting banned from CrossCode for completely bullshit reasons, like because somebody said bad words to them in a DL? Like, what's the deal here?
I feel like I would be shocked if that weren't the case.
I don't know, maybe after like thousands of years of development, we've actually figured out some answers to some moderation problems. I mean, that's pretty far-fetched, but, you know, we've got thousands of years of sci-fi development to talk about, so maybe not.
Right, but that's thousands of years of what is almost certainly going to be AI research into how can we make the moderator do the job for us.
Anyway, when I first got this quest, I was convinced that there was an additional secret path than the one we discovered up here, but no, it's this one. Don't overthink this. I guess it's just a standard requirement of evil guys to just throw monsters at us and hope that it does the trick. I don't really know what the theory is here.
I mean, surely, there is no way that we could possibly defeat these creatures, considering that there's like 100 of them just wandering around. It couldn't be done.
Ah, but you've forgotten one very important thing. The thing that will be our undoing. The ace up Henry's sleeve. Watching us do all of these fights is gonna give him so much combat data. Also, a thing I feel I should mention about these kinds of fights where scripted events in quests have us fighting normal enemies is that these encounters are not affected by boosters. It is only the random encounters that spawn and walk around the overworld that get boosted. If it's part of a quest, if it's in any way scripted, it's just always the standard level. Also, you okay there, Baxton? Well, let's see where this goes, I guess. Looks like this guy's able to accompany us into an instance.
I mean, that's probably fair, considering he's a mod.
My dude, haven't you heard? We will never log off. It's just not gonna happen. I don't know why you would ever think that. Well, this is a boss fight. This first shot is kind of weird. It's weirdly obtuse. I feel like once again there's probably some kind of incredibly standard way that we're supposed to do this that makes a lot of sense in retrospect, but I've never found it and always just go for some kind of bullshit bounce. Anyway, we've got some continuous shit to deal with. And one of the complete shit things that we have to deal with is actually noticing that an orange gap has opened up in the wall on the right.
Yeah, that's really hard to see.
That is a small contrast failure. That is maybe not thought all the way through. I imagine that this is probably even more bullshit if you have literally any kind of visual impairment. I know blue and orange are like some of the most contrasting colours that we use for this exact purpose, but even so, this is like not great. Like, you can probably tell I didn't notice. And I was like, hang on a minute. And it was only happening to just catch the very edge of the wall that I even noticed it here. Anyway, whoops. Hacks have made it so that the probe is now friendly, so we can't damage it with our lightning. And by an astonishing coincidence, he also starts spawning enemies that attack us with lightning. This is kind of a bit of a tricky thing to deal with though, because the samurai bugs are pretty powerful and you kind of have to take hits, or at least you have to get them to try and attack you in a way that's really difficult to dodge in order to get them to hit the probe. Fortunately though, we can make decoys. I'm sure I don't have to elaborate on how the warp decoy is even more useful in this fight than it is otherwise, and it's pretty useful otherwise. And now we just have to make the shot. Some of these are really something. Now, of course, once you figure out how to actually get this to work, and how to do just enough non-violence to enemies that he stops continuously spawning them, this is pretty manageable. You just have to, you know, stay alive. Which is more than we can say for him.
Well, see, I guess it would make sense that since he's just a dude or something, that you just have to hit him once, and then,
Well, you say that, but also, I don't know, I feel like actual humans would be able to shrug off quite a fair bit of aggression from instant matter avatars. But I think that might not really be the point here. So yeah, this whole thing was a fake out. Surprise. I don't know how I feel about this. I guess part of not knowing how I feel about this is not knowing how I feel about the fact that this was actually done deliberately in-game, and that Lear is supposed to not be knowing how we feel about this, and that we, the player, are supposed to be like second-order super not knowing how we feel about this. This fucking game. Also, I would like to point out that Baxton was reacting totally organically to all of our speech, including, like, the fact that he was clearly aware that we were unable to speak normally, which is not something any of the other NPCs in the game have really done. Although maybe this was foreshadowed a little bit by the whole Parrot Mafia subquest. He's got nothing new to say, but we haven't seen you in a while.
I don't know if you can say that we've never done anything to exploit the system, considering our everything in Vermilion Wasteland.
Yeah, but we're not supposed to talk about that.